and in the next series of spots, we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 3 figures. Starting first, those reviews, today's toy spot, we're going to be looking at Spider-Man in his red and blue costume. Not really quite red and blue. It's more like a dark bluish gray, but you get the idea. This, again, is a limited movie edition Marvel Legend line. A really hated line. I think if you ask a lot of Marvel Legend collectors out there, this line really should have not been called Marvel Legends. Instead, they should have just called it the movie line or something like that. But it is a Build-A-Figure collection. Collect all 8 figures to build the what I already think to be a very disappointing figure. As you can see on the back, you can collect 8 figures to build Sandman. The figures in this wave, we got Mary Jane, we got the new Goblin, we've got Doc Ock, we've got Green Goblin, we've got Spider-Man, we've got Sandman, black suited Spider-Man, and finally Venom. You read up, Spider-Man has doubted himself before, sure, but he's also never faced odds like this. 1 superpowered psycho he can handle, but 3? Before now, he has always had the secret identity to protect him, keep his real life somehow safe and apart from the adventures as Spider-Man. It tears him apart knowing how Harry Osborn feels, knowing his secret, but the fact that Harry has taken to chasing him with machetes isn't much help either. Venom seems to know his secrets too, and takes joy in exploiting them. Sandman is so tangled up in Peter's past that it sometimes feels like he's been living with the guy for years. Boy, that's not a great way to start a series of toy reviews. That's a horrible read-up. Real name Peter Parker, hometown Queens, New York, powers super strength, web spinning, enhanced reflexes, irritant, okay, J. Jonah Jameson, best friend Harry Osborn, worst enemy Harry Osborn. Wow, you know, anyone who wrote that up for the figure I hope got fired, because that is a terrible read up. Irritant, best friend, worst enemy. Wow. Not probably the best way to start, but that is packaging on the red and blue costume Spider-Man. Oh, I hope this gets better. What we'll do is we'll open up the figure, we'll open up the package, we'll have a better look at Spider-Man. So stay tuned, guys. It's got to get good now. I've got a really bad feeling about this, guys. This is probably the worst way to start a series of reviews on a single toy line, because this Spider-Man is terrible. It is terrible. I hate to speak so ill of a single figure like this, but if you've collected the Spider-Man first movie Spider-Man figures or the second movie Spider-Man figures, you'll probably recognize this Spider-Man. You've probably also see too, based on looking at your Spider-Man from the original movie and this Spider-Man, that yours probably looks a lot nicer. I wish I could still find my original Spider-Man figure. I have him packed away somewhere, and I really wanted to pull him out for the sake of this review, because I wanted to really show you the difference in quality. The original Spider-Man figure, from the looks of it, is the same body, except for what I can tell to be one part, and it's this part right here, this mid... I don't even want to say mid-stomach, because he's got the stomach joint, the stomach crunch, but then he's got this other bobblehead joint. I don't know what they were doing with this. Look at it, it's just a mess. The paint is poor. I mean poor. In the elbow area here, very sloppy. The metal, the metallic silver that they went with, way too bright, if you ask me, for this figure. Way too bright. The gray is not bad. I mean, really, there's not much that they could screw up there. A lot of just paint bleed, errors like where the gray has bled into the red. This figure is terrible. Yeah, it's a real shame, because first of all, this line was so easy to find when it first came out. The line I don't think as a whole did well at all, and I ended up picking up the entire line. I kid you not, I picked up the entire line. I think at Toys R Us, if I remember, it was Toys R Us, and it was like buy one get one free. And I initially went in, and I passed on getting the Doc Ock when Spider-Man 2 figures came out. So I went back. I thought this was a prime opportunity. I could pick up Doc Ock. I could pick up another Green Goblin, which I don't know what happened to my initial Green Goblin. And then the lure. I'm sure any collector can tell you the lure of the collect and connect, the build-a-figure pieces. It got to the point that I really had. I'll get into this in a second. I had the majority of the pieces, so much so that I ended up going back and I got the figures I wouldn't have gotten before, like the New Goblin, the Mary Jane, and I think actually the Spider-Man here was another one I ended up going back and picking up. But buy one, get one free, and no one was buying these things. And had your first figure been this Spider-Man, you probably would have stopped collecting as well. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the worst made figures. I mean, this articulation-wise, he's not bad. I'll give him that. But paint and overall execution, this figure is terrible. I really should have started the review first with the collect and connect piece, if you can really even call it that, the Build-A-Figure piece, because it's supposedly his leg, but it's just basically a stump. It's just... This isn't a good way to start a Build-A-Figure if you pick this up and you can't even tell what piece this is supposed to be. But he does come with this piece. Yeah. Move him aside. In the way of Spider-Man's articulation, he has a pin and socket joint head. It's not really a ball joint. So you can move it up and down. You can bend at the neck, but unfortunately you have to get the neck just right. I think you can see the hinge right there. You have to get the neck just right for you to bend the head up and down. Moves left and right. The lower neck also moves. He has the shoulder extension articulation. I really don't have a name for it, but the joint where you can actually spread the arms further out if you want. He also has the side shoulder joint as well. So there's actually 3 points when you think about it. He also has the ball joint shoulder. You can rotate at the bicep. You can bend at the elbow. 2 points. You can rotate in the forearm. You can bend the hand. You can individually bend the fingers. This is the part I don't like right here. He's got this ball-jointed mid-torso something going on there. If you lean it forward enough, he doesn't actually move. You get it far enough back, and all of a sudden you got a bobblehead figure. He has the mid-torso crunch. You can rotate at the waist. You can bend the legs back and forth, in and out. Rotate the thigh, bend to the knee, 2 points. Rotate the calf, bend at the foot, and bend at the toe. I'm realizing I might have been too harsh on this figure. I think had the paint just been a little nicer on it, the figure probably wouldn't have been as bad as I'm making him out to be. But I really don't like this joint here, this loose piece. I don't know why they went with that. And as far as I know, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to double check this, I don't think the initial Spider-Man figure had that. I think that part was one solid piece. I'm going to go back and double check that, but this figure is disappointing. I really hate to say it. This figure is disappointing. This figure I'm going to give a 4. 4. I know. Not a good way to start. But today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the first figure. Oh, it has to get better than this. We're looking at the first figure of the Spider-Man movie Marvel Legend line, the Build a Sandman line. And today we were looking at Spider-Man. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more Toy Spots to come, and I will see you guys next time. It's got to get better.